Afternoon, guys. Well, as probably down to my last videos here, but I want to talk to you about Balikbayan boxes and the things I think you need to ship from your native country for your build, or get one of your buddies to send as part of your build, or the more expensive option, which is Amazon. Let's get into some of the basic nuts and bolts that I think you need to bring from your native country. Battery operated tools. Now, I have looked at a lot of battery operated tools here, and honestly, some of the batteries here are suspect as to whether they are 4 or 1.5 or whatever. So we elected very quickly, early in the game, to send a home quality set of tools to the Philippines, being Ryobi. I've had very good luck with Ryobi in the past and very stoked on that. Now, 99% of the work, which was using impact drill, all of that type of thing, the non-drilling stuff through the AAC and the non-cutting of some phenolic. Other than that, the 1.5 milliamp batteries were more than adequate to get through cocoa lumber, etc. However, when it came to drilling through the AAC, you need the bigger one, or the bigger 4 or larger milliamp batteries. You need bimetal blades of whatever type that you're going to be cutting through. So case in point might be trying to get through these panels that are reinforced. How are you going to do the cutting there? Now, one thing that they do fine here is things like the zip cuts and that type of thing, because angle grinders are everywhere. But battery operated, meh. And we've looked, guys. We have looked. But at the end of the day, you know what? I could buy the kit cheaper and more reliable, etc. in Canada. Now, in North America, what you might find though, is your tools are going to be 110 volt. Make sure that your charging block is switchable, internally switchable, like your cellular phone has got a switching block on the inside, 200 or 110 volt. Otherwise, you are going to have to buy an inverter here, but they are everywhere now. Wonderful. Don't even try and plug it into a 200 volt without going through some kind of surge protector. The last thing you need to do is burn out your charger. On that note, bring 2 charger blocks, just in case you burn one out. A lot of things like chisel bits you can get here, but things like saw bits or blades, you know, that kind of thing. You can get some of that stuff here, but it's just not the same quality. The bimetal seems to be better out of Canada. I'll touch on one right away here. Kitchen and bath silicone. It is garbage here, guys. I have tried like 3 different sets of kitchen and bath. Maybe it's just too warm. I'll be really interested. We're going to bring some kitchen and bath silicone back with us. Maybe it's the humidity and the temperature that's constantly here. But I live in Canada, and there's a zone in Canada that we used to live in, and we would get 38, 40 degree periods of weather. I don't understand it. So we will be bringing silicone. And I think it was Texas Filipino, I think, that said bring the silicone from North America, but I never found out how well it worked in this climate. What else would I bring? Well, there's all sorts of different things that you might want to grab from your toolkit that you could just throw in the box and send with you. You know, I'm already a big proponent of sending your pots and pans, because again, the pot and pan set that we got to bring here this year was cheaper than the Philippines. There are some things that are just cheaper. But remember, we are buying whole kits in Canada, or whole sets, whatever way you want to, depending on what you're buying, that are cheaper in Canada than they are here. Some of the products that we take for granted, when we buy a full set, you might be able to buy one-offs here, and that's fine. But when you want to combine it with a kit, it becomes more expensive. So there you go. Take advantage of those Balikbayan boxes, guys. They are a lot more cost effective. However, it do take 3 to 3.5 months to get here. So if you're planning any of that type of stuff, send it in your Balikbayan box. Check out I'll link one of our cards here. It is amazing how much you can get in a 2-foot by 2-foot box. Now, you can also take advantage of shipping a 20-foot or a 40-foot container and do like Ernest and his wife did. Boom, everything just went into it, and there you go. Everything is here. But take advantage of certain things when you're in North America, in Europe, in Australia, New Zealand. Just think about the things that you could send. Now, we got lucky. We broke a bolt cutter here. Ours, they went too close to the tip and they snapped the tip off. We were able to open it up wide as it should be and cut the 10mm bar with that. This year we got lucky and we were able to find a bolt cutter here in the Philippines, whereas last year we went everywhere. Couldn't find one that size to be able to cut 10mm bar. Yeah, you know, just lots of different things like that. The quality of hammers here is quite often just a welded chunk of metal together. If you've seen the nails in this country, they don't have a nice round formed head. Sometimes it's just a little piece of steel kicked off to the side. And that sends me off to screws. If you're in Canada, you know about the Robertson screw. I'm a big fan of the Robertson screw, though the crew needs to be taught how to use an electric drill. They for sure strip the Phillips. Every time they pull the trigger, they strip the head off of it. But it leads me to Phillips screws in this country. It is their #1 screw, and it is almost everything that I've found here. Absolute garbage. Though I'm not a fan of Phillips at any level anyway, except maybe if you're just doing a circuit board or something like that, but not for construction at all. So Torx and Robertson for both your pan head and your countersink screws. As far as self-tapping goes, they have a lot of that stuff, guys, because they do have a lot of metal here, and a lot of what they do is a 5/16 head for doing roofing and stuff, which has the rubber grommet on it. But again, bring your impact tool so that it will stop and doesn't flare that rubber gasket. The guys started our roof with a regular drill, and they flared some of those. I made them take them out and use my drill. They were impressed. I says, "You gonna buy one?" He said, "Nah." It's all about return business, guys. It's all about return business. There's no way that concrete should ever break, ever, if done properly. Tiles in SM. It's just absolute garbage, guys. It's unbelievable. And that sort of leads me to some of the finishing tools and stuff, especially for concrete and stuff. You can order those on Lazada, but again, you might find, like we did with the solar exhaust fans, that what you receive and what you see in the picture can be two different things. I have seen finishing tools for concrete that, you know, I don't know, what did they use? Get a child to hold on to it or something? It was literally that big. So anyway, concrete finishing tools, send it. One thing that you will have to hunt down if you can't get a box big enough, and that is a bowl float to do a proper float. As you know, we screwed up on our slab. Worked out just fine in the end, guys, but honestly, not where I was going mentally with that, even though it's going to have tile over top of it. Notch trowels for finishing. You might want some V-cut for different applications. You know, all sorts of different things that you need. Now, and lastly is your homework. Get your homework done, guys. It's very, very important, in my opinion, to get the homework done, get the videos. That's why I put that one folder together that is for, you know, the Tile Association, showing them how to mix adhesive, showing them how to, you know, properly trowel, showing them how to not swirl, you know, AAC videos, all of that stuff that you could have in your back pocket so that you can show those guys over and over and over again, because they are not lazy, because it's purely exposure. If you had to go to the moon tomorrow, you would be completely out of your element, and you would not pick it up overnight. It would take time, okay? So it's just like the drilling, it's just like the AAC. You got to work through the guys that are going to work and shuffle off the other guys. That's a one major thing that we learned in this project. We had a lot of fun with our crew. You know, they became almost like family and all of that sort of thing. But that may not be your shtick. It was ours. We wanted to have fun with this project. And so the net result is, whether you agree with it or not, we did pay better than average in the area. And interestingly enough, I've had people on both ends of the spectrum saying I didn't pay well enough and I didn't pay, or I paid too much. So, you know, anyway, we did pay higher than going rate. We paid city rate instead of provincial rate. So again, take advantage of those Balikbayan boxes, and you are going to have to bring some tools from your Western country. You just can't find the quality here, or you're going to have to replace them over and over and over again. So dimpling tools for drywall, you can use the dimpling tool on the HardieFlex as well. If you're going to use HardieFlex or drywall, bring some dimpling tools with you. I have not found them anywhere here. And then you will have to bring good quality Phillips self-tapping and regular sheet metal screws. You'll have to bring them with you if you want that dimpling tool to work right. We tried here. Meh. Broke the heads off of so many of them. I can't even tell you how many heads I broke off. Crazy, absolutely crazy. What we ended up doing was buying some screws that had the washer on them for doing a roof, but it wasn't a hex head. It was a regular one. We had to take the washers off and try that, and it did work to a degree. But by then I had already decided that we were not going to do HardieFlex finishing anyway. Take advantage of the Balikbayans, guys. Take advantage of shipping by container. You might find it's a lot cheaper in the end. Now, a little tip or trick that I have been told, and that is take your way bill, if you want to call it, which identifies all the stuff that you've got in there. Get the consulate in your area, Philippine consulate, to acknowledge what's there. And then when you get it here, there's not many hoops to jump through. We haven't done it. I can't cite it for sure, but that's been told to me a couple of times. Stay tuned for our costing, final costing. That will come sometime in late April when we get back in Canada. Later, Gators.